Hello, everybody. Welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be the weekly twin astrology forecast for the Twin Flame Collective for the week ahead. Welcome into a brand new week of cosmic intensity. I feel we've got some very intense purging going on in the collective. We have almost an astrology aspect taking place every day this week leading up to the new moon in Libra. We have Mercury retrograde continuing this week. We have the Libra new moon, which is going to open up the doorway to these new balanced relationship cycles is what I'm feeling. You think of Libra. Libra is the sign of justice. It is the sign of balance. It is a relationship axis. We also have the Equinox portal gateway opening up this week on the 22nd. We're entering into Libra season, and so there's a lot of influx of light code activations. And all of these higher light code activations are triggering all of these shadow aspects to kind of rise to the surface for a level of clearing. And so I feel many of us are being activated into these new twin flame timelines. And what is this really going to mean for these twin flame connections? Many of us are in separation. And so I feel with all of these astrological aspects taking place this week, we are being asked to find that balance in this transition. And so we think of the equinox, it's equal day and night. We had that back in the spring. And so I feel something that was manifested back at the spring equinox is coming to completion, is coming to fertilization this fall. You think of fall, it is the harvest energy. And so whether you are in the southern or the northern hemisphere, you're either going to have the spring or the fall equinox. And so this is where we can lift the veil of illusion. We can shift our perceptions, and we can create that merger between the physical and the spiritual realms, because the veil is going to be very, very thin this week, I feel. And so there's going to be a lot of increased spiritual phenomena taking place. So if you've been noticing the synchronicities a lot, for myself all weekend, it seemed like every time I looked at the clock, it was 11:11, it was 1:11, it was 2:22, 3:33, 4:44. And so when you're really in tune with being in the flow, I feel that's when all of these things come up, because we are in this transitionary of timeline shifting. And so I feel the equinox is bringing forward a message of be ready to change or be changed, is kind of what I feel. And so a lot of pressurized energy when it comes to the soul's urge to take action, to enter into these new higher chapters, these new higher timelines. But in order to do that, we kind of do have to release the past. We have to release all of these old karmic realities, as all of these new crystalline grids have been activated as we fully ground these new earth energies. And so we are here to be grounded in unity consciousness. And in order to do that, we have to purge all of these old toxic cycles out of our life if we are to reach our highest potential when it comes to love and unity. And so I think a powerful week of potential for many of the twin flames. I think a lot is being stirred up energetically. I know exes from the past have been coming back for that closure, for that clearing. My karmic ex ended up reaching out again last Friday. It was a little bit of a trigger, but I managed to work through that trigger very, very smoothly. And so it's been a weekend of all kinds of many unfortunate towers for myself. I know the energy has been very, very heavy in all of these changing times. My daughter actually had a very bad allergic reaction to a bee sting. It just seemed like one thing after another kind of just kept getting piled on last week. And so I took the weekend to kind of recalibrate, to rest, to get some stuff done around the house. And so I'm feeling like I'm ready for this level up right now. It feels like something is coming, right? And so right now, we're all kind of being asked to harness this strong flow of spiritual energy that's coming through. And so get ready for some major life changes. Get ready for things to kind of stir up. And I feel many of us are on the precipice of this leveling up. And so we're going through this spiritual gateway of being tested is what I'm feeling. And the equinox is really going to highlight any imbalances in our lives and what needs to be triggered when it comes to all of the darkness in order to release the mask of our ego, right? And so many of us mask our human self by people pleasing, drinking, addictions, eating. And so these are all blocks to get us to return to the truth of who we are, to the truth of what love is, and the truth of our spiritual self. And so we got to kind of clear all of this foggy, staticky energy. And in order to do that, we do have to allow the mask to fall, which means to be open and to be emotionally vulnerable with another. And so a lot of ascension energy. So you might be feeling a lot of physical uncomfortableness as we purge these old timelines. All of this emotional, energetic trauma kind of has to be released. And so I know many were feeling very lethargic on the weekend. I know for myself, it was very hard to get that drive to get up and go yesterday. I tell you, I just kept putting one foot in front of the other, because if I stopped, I wouldn't have been able to kind of get up out of that sludge-like energy. And so I feel this new moon in Libra, because it is a relationship axis, we're going to be shown if we've actually reached that level of healing. Do you actually love yourself? That's going to be a big message, because this is a week of focusing on healing our shadows, going into this deep integration. And with Mercury retrograde, we're going to have to go back when it comes to something that was missed in the past. And it is a symbol of a new chance, especially with the new moon in Libra this week. And so I think we're being asked to release self-judgment and judgment of our counterpart, self-criticism and criticism of our counterpart, and to open up to this state of wholeness from the inside out. And so if we can do this, then we can shift the whole collective right now, is kind of what I'm feeling. And so where do you need to value everybody's uniqueness? We are all unique. And so nobody can ever reach a level of perfection, right? And so many of us are very powerful healers. And so I think over the weekend, it feels like we're stuck in the mud, stuck in a rut, feeling like nothing is moving forward with all of these outer planets in retrograde and the pre-shadow retrograde of Mars taking place. And it feels like this desire to take action and not being able to move anywhere out of this stuckness. And so what needs to be cleared in order to shift out of this very stuck molasses type energy? And so where do you need to open up wide to invite love back into your life? Because I feel so many of us look at these relationships from the 3D perspective, and so we kind of got to put the brakes on until we tap into these higher perspectives. And so this is not a normal 3D relationship by any means. And so it is up to us to shift our own perspectives, and it is up to us to get rooted in our truth, because the fact of the matter is we are not like everybody else on the planet. And the twin flame connection that we share is not meant to be like everybody else's 3D relationship. And so we have a joint mission. And I feel the masculines are being pushed to fulfill this mission with the feminine, and yet they are resisting. They're resisting. And so I feel the feminines reach that level of harmony, right? The scales of justice, the scales of Mott. And, you know, our heart has been weighed during this spiritual test, this spiritual initiation, and our heart is as light as a feather. And so the masculine's heart is heavy, heavy, heavy. And so we're feeling like we're worlds apart. And so the masculine, I feel, is going through a deep emotional purge at this time in order to realize that we are here to work together as a team. And so as the feminine works to balance her individual energies of masculine and feminine, this is in preparation for this union for the masculine to balance his own energies to find that resolution. And so I think this is a week of working out any kinks within the energies and balancing the masculine and feminine internally, so we can reach that place of equilibrium over the coming weeks. And so when we are blaming our counterpart or judging our counterpart, it creates very strong blocks to these unions, and it keeps us from connecting to the flow that we share with our counterpart. And so this often will continue down the pathway of separation until we reach a level of equilibrium. And that's what the Libra energy is asking us to do this week, because if the masculine twin is running, I feel it's because it's this reflection of self-punishing, and it is also a reflection of the feminine blaming the masculine still from not achieving that reach of the higher self and reaching that breakthrough. And so in order to become that one soul reunited, I feel we're going to have to release the heaviness in order to step into this lightness. And so a lot of the masculines, I feel, this week are being challenged to leave their ego at the door, to check their self-egoic interests at the door, so we can work as a team together. And so I think the masculine is going to be set to be shown this week that we're just not two people, two regular people. We are one original soul split. We chose to divide from love to reunite in love and to find the truth of who we are within this connection. And so another thing I think we need to be aware of this week is to not let other divine feminines or twin flames get all up in our head, especially if there are divine feminines out there struggling with these conflicting patterns between the head and the heart, because there's a lot of karmic baggage coming up in the energies. And we don't want other people to deflect or project their own fears into our connection. And so that's going to be a big thing, because the truth of the matter is we have all of these distorted subconscious programs in our mind. And there are so many people out there spreading false light paradigms. And so we're going to want to distance ourselves from these false prophets. We're going to want to get rooted in the truth of our soul and in the truth of this connection, so we can deepen into the energy of love. And so we are here to journey from separation consciousness into unity consciousness, and we are here to teach others this lifetime how to achieve this inner union. And so a lot of the twin flames mission is to honor this higher soul contract this lifetime. And so we need to remember we chose this division because we are highly advanced souls and because we've mastered the enlightenment journey in a past life. And so we are being asked to return to love, to return to self, so we can return to each other. And so I feel a lot of bridging taking place on the human plane. And so we are here to pave the pathway for society in order to follow us into these higher states of unity. And so do not get all wrapped up in online debating. I know the energy is super heavy today with the funeral for the Queen of England. I've got my own personal opinions on all of that, but I will keep them to myself. And so I feel right now the collective is entrenched in this heaviness, in this blaming energy, in this human ego energy, and we don't want to play into all of these problems that everybody else is kind of working with. And so I've recently reactivated my Facebook account, and so I'm kind of a little bit regretting it already, because when we play into all of this online debating, then we're feeding separation anxiety, right? We're feeding separation consciousness. And so many of us have mastered the journey of love in a past life. And so we've come here this lifetime to reunite in this blissful, loving state. And so do not debate with others, okay? Do not debate with others, because when we debate with others, then we're hanging on to these old timelines. And if we truly want to embrace unity, we're going to have to stop debating, right? We're going to have to align with love. We're going to have to go within, and we're going to really have to listen to ourselves, right? Our soul. Our soul knows best for ourselves. And so I think this is going to be a week of healing, a lot of shadows, finding our true inner light, and perhaps even having that face-to-face talk with your counterpart, even if it's maybe even in the astral planes. But I do feel this equinox energy, along with all of the retrograde planets, we're all being pushed to honor our soul's truth, to step away from these old karmic stories and what we have been taught about toxic love between men and women, and really stepping into our fullest potential. And so in order to do this, we have to give ourselves that space, that room. We need to detach, and we need to be brave enough to go into these higher experiences, because the truth of the matter is when that soul merger takes place, it is this immaculate, divine union energy. And so we got to learn how to deal with these energies, right? I do feel it is a time to return to being at home with one another. And so divine feminine, open up your heart, go within, and be willing to receive the masculine's return, because I do think the masculine is experiencing a lot of deep inner breakthroughs in the energies. And although I feel many of the masculines are in a state of confusion, it is due to all of these outside influences that are keeping the masculine stuck. And so although it appears as if everything is stuck, I don't think it is. It's kind of like this great cosmic void, this great cosmic womb energy kind of taking place. And so as the feminine shifts her perspective and her energetic alignment, then the access of opening up to the heart will be beautiful for the masculine. And so divine feminine, own your angelic light, own your angelic power, because it is from deep within you that the masculine can truly access the love of this bond that we share. And so I feel this is a week of really loving ourselves. And this is a week of allowing in all of these new opportunities, because I do feel this is the moment we've been waiting for when it comes to stepping into this new chapter of love that the twins share. So let's jump in with some cards, guys. I am going to choose a couple different decks today. I'm actually going through purging some of my decks, and so I was really drawn to the Oracle of the Shadows and Light deck by Lucy Cavendish. And I figured we would jump in with this deck first today to kind of see what energies are coming through. Look at that. That's what's on the bottom of the deck. I am Callie. So death, rebirth, back off, invasion, boundaries, violation. And so I feel the masculines are really, really getting those firm boundaries in place. And I think that's another message for the feminine. I feel a lot of the masculines are feeling violated by the domination of the karmic feminine. And they have been transitioning into the spiritual realms. And they are in this very heavy, heavy death energy this week. And yeah, and the past is coming back. I feel the masculine is being haunted by his past decisions and the ghost of X's past, and he's going to have to face the past once and for all, because spirit is with him, and I feel the veil has been broken. So let's see what needs to come through on the masculine's end first. And we'll jump in with this deck first. We'll see what messages need to come through for the masculine. It's time to be brave. So I'm hearing Celtic culture, cleanup time. So the masculine is really needing to clean up this mess that has been made. And so he's got the sword of truth. I do feel it's time to be brave, to be emotionally vulnerable. It's time for the masculine to come forward and have that face-to-face conversation. And it really is time to clean up this past baggage once and for all. So I feel it's a week of cleaning up past baggage for the masculine. That's interesting. The power of three little witches. And so release your power, divine feminine. I was always shown the three little witches was a symbol for my own journey of me and my two daughters. I'm a triple split soul. My oldest daughter is a split soul, and my youngest is a single soul. And so the three of us together have been integrating, clearing these karmic timelines together, right? Breaking the chains. And so I feel a lot of the karmics have been holding on way too tight to the masculine because they are deathly afraid of being alone. And look at that. We're at the precipice of this breaking dawn energy. So what needs to come through on the feminine's end? There we go. So, ooh, divine feminine. There might be the fairy of the divine hand. So there's definitely some distorted views coming up for the feminine, I feel, this week. And you too are being asked to instill those firm boundaries. So who has violated your boundaries? So it was like a test I felt for myself when my karmic ex reached out again and definitely laid down the boundaries as firmly as I could, as honestly and politely as I could. And so boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Divine feminine, do not play into any intoxications or overindulgences, because that is going to skew your perception. And I just feel both the masculine and the feminine are in store for a week of massive transformation and healing. We get the tower energy, the death energy, and then we get the healing. So we get karmic debt number 13, 16, and 19. And so I know those are prominent karmic debt numbers for my own personal journey. And so we're healing the ego, the lower ego. We're releasing this death energy, and we are stepping into rebirthing these connections. And so it's kind of time to mend these connections. Many of us have gone through the deep healing from the heartache of this separation. And I feel now it's time to kind of take that proverbial Band-Aid off, because a clear solution is going to be around the corner for this healing journey. So I think get ready for miracles is another message. So let's jump in with the past life lessons, because I do feel we're rounding completion of all of these past life lessons. There's the overindulgence again. So I also feel many of the masculines are being asked to release any addictions that have prevented them from seeing clearly. It's feeling like the hermit energy, right? The lantern. And so when we go within, we find our own inner light to guide the pathway forward. And so that is the only time we will find that clear solution. So we're going to see what lessons are coming up for the masculine this week when it comes to the past lives that we have shared. We get loyalty, inadequacy, pride and ego. What lessons are coming up for the feminine for the week ahead? And so the masculine's challenge, I feel, this week is to understand all of these karmic circumstances are there in order to get him to release his pride and his ego and any inadequacy issues. And so I feel a lot of the masculines are transmuting a lot of shame from the way that they have treated the feminine in past life experiences, and understanding that no one owns perfection. And so a major lesson in loyalty, I feel a lot of the masculines, you know, played into this burning the stick at both ends, double loyalty. And so right now I feel a lot of the masculines are being tested with all kinds of external challenges and influences, and they're being asked, will they remain loyal to the feminine? Because the feminine's faithfulness and dedication has been unwavering during this rebirth process. And so the masculine is being asked to remain loyal to the divine feminine. And so the feminine, we get aloneness and the prostitute energy. So it goes back to Mary Magdalene, right? Mary Magdalene was portrayed as a prostitute in the Testament, and so in the Old Testament. And so I feel a lot of the feminines are feeling lost, feeling like we have to hide this spiritual life. I also feel a lesson of, you know, understanding we had to do what we needed to this lifetime out of necessity to get to where we are today. And so aloneness. I was talking to a divine feminine in Scotland, and we talked about that. Why are we always put into this state of isolation? If you notice, many of the divine feminines get put into this state of isolation where they are completely alone on the journey, right? And many of us have met other divine feminines, but none of us seem to live in the same city, and we're strategically placed all over the world. And so this is a choice that the soul made to go into this solitary life, to spend most of our time alone, because that's when we tap into these high frequencies, and that's when we tap into the high priestess energy. And so I feel right now it's a clearing of how early of a death that this relationship had before we went into separation. Releasing any grief of being taken away from your counterpart prematurely. And I feel stepping into this achievement of this hard-earned life lesson and this higher state of learning. And so I also feel we are not here to be anybody's servant. I feel a lot of the masculines have been a faithful servant to the karmic energy because of the overindulgence. And this is a week of balancing out this karma, balancing out this burden of separation that we have carried for lifetime after lifetime. And this is the lifetime that we acknowledge this core wound and we release it and heal it. And so I feel get ready to face all kinds of limiting conditions in the week ahead for the masculine in order to release the pride and ego and the inadequacy issues and to make peace with this ending once and for all. So let's see what's going to be illuminated for the masculine. Look at that, illumination blessings. And so the twins came here to manifest unlimited abundance, to manifest these rainbow blessings. And so I feel a week of blessings, a week of illumination. And after the storm comes the sun and the rainbow, and the clouds can part. So blessings. So what is being illuminated on the masculine's end, or the masculine side for the week ahead? Karmic lessons, patience. Patience is a virtue, and spending time together. So the masculine is bearing the roots of the past, I feel. He is definitely facing some obstacles and some challenges in working through fear. Like a newborn baby, afraid of coming forward. And I think so, working through fear, working through self-worth issues, facing challenges and obstacles. I feel like a lot of the masculines are so tired of banging their head up against the wall. And I feel divine timing says this is the week of maybe sitting down, sorting this all out and putting the past behind us. And so right now, karmic lesson coming full circle for the masculine, and he is deep within some emotional vulnerability when it comes to this heart healing, going through a huge karmic release and mastering a completion of this lesson of inadequacy, right? So what needs to come through on the feminine side for the week ahead? Withholding. So I feel a lot of the feminines really have been withholding their energy, withholding communication. I feel a lot of the feminines, if you've been withholding, releasing the grief of the sadness of this loss, or I also feel withholding the expectation of receiving a message, and growth and expansion for the feminine. And so many of the feminines, we have children, right, with ex-karmic partners. And, you know, many of the twins are here to blend families together. And so healing these family patterns for the children, right? I also feel divine feminine, get ready to receive a message. I feel a lot of the masculines have been withholding coming forward with a message as they go through this ending. And so right now I feel you're being asked to just pause, to sit in this stuckness as the masculine finds a clear solution going through this ending. I also feel the feminine is deeply connected at this time with a lot of her ancestors crossed over, and you've been patiently waiting to receive this message. And so what I'm being shown is a lot of these masculines fear not being able to find their words when they come forward. So they've bottled up all of this, all of these words that they want to say to you. And so maybe the masculine will be coming back with like a letter in his hand because he's afraid of, you know, losing his words in that face-to-face. But this is a week of embracing changes. And I do feel increasing our finances, stepping into unlimited abundance. And I do feel an apology will be coming forward. I feel the masculine is so apologetic for how dismissive he was towards you, avoidant, dismissive, how he broke your trust is another big thing, how he was not there for you and abandoned you in your darkest hours. I think the masculines are just feeling very, very badly for what they did to you, how they treated you, for keeping you in the dark, for leaving you out of the loop, and for staying gone for such a long time. And so I feel there's also this guilt and this shame for not reaching out sooner, for making such a mess of this connection, and for not saying I love you when they had that chance. And so I feel there's an apology coming for betraying your trust, and I do think they want to make things right. So let's jump in with some tarot, and we will see what needs to come through on the masculine side. So this is what's kept the masculine stuck in this ego battle, is confusion. He's been playing into procrastination, overanalyzing, fear of facing you and admitting, hey, maybe I had like 7 cups on the go. Maybe I was dealing with more people than you realize. And so there is desire to move forward. And the masculine is going to have to break free from that illusion of being trapped in that karmic situation. And in order to do that, it will require accepting full responsibility for the situation that he has created. And then he's going to have to consciously make a decision that will support his pathway to happiness. And so right now, releasing any addictions or unhealthy habits on the masculine's part. Definitely an ego battle, right? So, and fear is ego-based energy. So we're going to see what needs to come through on the divine masculine side for the week ahead. And there's blocks, unwilling to make that decision. Oh my gosh, the 2 swords, the Emperor and the High Priestess. Some very powerful energies. And so a lot of the masculines have been people-pleasing, right? Doing what everybody else wants them to do, pretending there's no problem, overanalyzing, unwilling to make a decision. And I feel, like I said, the veil has been pierced. She's got like a blindfold on, but it's a mesh veil, and so seen clearly. There's a lot of emotional truth, too, that needs to come forward. And so I feel the masculine's trying to find this place of calm in the emotional chaos that's going on internally. And I feel getting ready to take action. So a lot of the masculines really are going within, I feel. We did get the Emperor, the divine masculine, Aries energy, Pisces energy with the High Priestess. And so right now the masculine is going inward to discover his soul's desires, to get logical and organized before taking action. And so he is getting ready to take charge of a very unwise choice. He is getting ready to quickly depart that karmic situation. And I feel wanting to come forward and have success with the feminine. And so I feel the masculines are restructuring their life right now, mastering discipline as they are being pushed into accepting this leadership role. And I feel, you know, they've been going within, unwilling to take action. And so I feel this development of some intuitive gifts taking place for the masculine this week. And they're going to need to trust in the answers that they've been receiving when it comes to this very unwise decision that they made in the past. And so a lot of these masculines avoided taking accountability and being responsible for their lack of integrity and all of their questionable motives in the past. And so they went in the wrong direction thinking that that was going to make them happier, and it was an unwise choice. And so I feel they will be relocating and getting their emotions in check. The Chariot for me, Cancer energy, balancing the light and the shadow aspects, harnessing your emotional control, and balancing, finding the determination and the willpower to come forward with that public recognition for the feminine. And so divine feminine, Queen of Cups, 3 of Cups. I feel celebrate. Union is coming closer. And so I also feel the feminine's turned her back on the third party. The feminine's turned her back on the third party interference. And so on this card, if you look, we get the masculine and the feminine, 2 enlightened beings, and this dark karmic entity in between the 2. And so I feel the feminine's all done reviewing the past, all done looking back at the past, and I feel the feminine's kind of looked back and reached a level of forgiveness through compassion, of understanding, you know, it's time to kind of leave that behind, right? And I feel a lot of the feminines have received that clarity when it comes to their purpose. And I feel a lot of the feminines too. I will never, ever, ever self-sacrifice again. I will never, ever, ever be so loving and compassionate that it leads to self-sacrificing. And so protecting your cup, not really sure. Like the feminines looking straight ahead at all of the emotions that we share, right? It's like an ocean of emotions. And when you're in the thick of it, it feels like you're drowning underwater in your subconscious mind. And so I feel a lot of the feminines have reached a level of forgiveness, but right now they're really focused on taking care of themselves, putting themselves first, because we cannot help another fill their cup if we're unwilling to fill ours first, right? So let's see what needs to come through on the feminine side for the week ahead. What energies are coming through for the feminine. We get the Three of Wands, the Page of Wands, the Renewal, and the Page of Swords. So two messengers. The Three of Wands, it's like the wait is over. Abundance, receiving abundance for your past choices. Success for all of the hard work you've done on the journey. And I feel the feminine gets to decide what's next. I also feel like the wait is over, right? You chose to keep taking action in the right direction, and everything you prayed for is coming into manifestation during this next moon cycle. I feel between the new moon in Libra and the full moon in Aries, everything will be balanced out because of your patience and stepping into long-term success. So yes, I do feel get ready to receive a message. Divine Feminine, two messengers, and the Renewal, which is the Judgment, which is an indication of reconciliation. And so I feel as the feminine keeps heading towards this new higher direction, it is going to bring the masculine in, because he knows in his heart of hearts what it is he needs to do. And it's time to finish what was started at that original soul recognition of these connections. And so get ready to receive an exciting offer, exciting news, a message of some sort, something that you've been waiting for quite some time. And I think it's really time for us to get to work on this joint mission, right? We have a lot of work to do. And so I also feel a leveling up when it comes to maybe studying a new esoteric subject, or maybe a new healing practice or certification. Learning all you can about spirituality, right? The Gemini energy, the Mars in Gemini, takes things in very, very quickly, right? And so it's like taking in all of this information very, very quickly, paying attention to the details, and embracing these spiritual skills. And I also feel there's fear about this communication, right? There's fear on the masculine's end, unfounded fear, and trusting that nothing will work out, right? Like the masculine feels like nothing will work out in his life. I feel struggling with sleeping at night, having nightmares, waking in the middle of the night from dreams of the feminine, from prophetic dreams of the past, fulfilling prophecies, and needing to release that unfounded fear to take that leap of faith for this new beginning. Because the truth of the matter is the masculine has been dreaming of this new start, not trusting himself when it comes to pushing these fears aside, needing to push the fears aside and to take that leap of faith. And I feel taking very swift, decisive, driven action. The masculine has been divinely guided by, I feel, a spirit guide on the other side, a mother or a grandmother figure, to face these fears, to face these challenges head on, from an intellectual standpoint rather than from an emotional standpoint, because I think a lot of the masculines get emotionally manipulated because they are so empathic. And so there's going to be sudden unexpected changes and sudden unexpected communication this week, I feel. So let's get a couple last closing messages for the twins. Star Keepers, Earth School. And so major life lessons, a lot of growth, and stepping into this higher study, this higher learning, because we have all these cosmic ancestors pushing us to seed this new light. So you're really going to want to stay grounded in the energies this week. You're going to want to do those energy clearings, those cord cuttings, and you're really going to want to meditate. And what I've been guided to do for meditation over the last week is a heart chakra meditation because of the heart heaviness. And so the masculine is being shown that all paths lead him back home to the feminine. And so in order for him to return to the feminine, he's going to have to own his inner authority, because we are in this equinox portal gateway energy. And the doorway is opened, it's wide open, but the masculine is going to have to decide. He's going to have to decide, is he going to be brave enough to walk through this portal? Because the rewards will be on the other side. And so, divine feminine, you have always held this love within your sacred heart. And so right now you are really needing to practice firm boundaries. Really figure out who's been codependent on your energy, where you've been codependent on another. And I feel you've got the love, and the masculine wants to come in and apologize and right this past wrong. So I feel a lot of unearthing. Many of us are learning how to be human in the world, even though we're not from this world, right? And we've descended as these ascended masters from these past life timelines. And so where do we need to loosen that grip? We're not in control, right? I also feel in order to let God in, any addictions or dense energies need to be released. Any coping mechanisms, any masks need to be shed if we are to be creatively accountable for what it is that we create in our physical reality. And so I think we're all being asked to be seen. And the masculine is being asked to follow his intuition before it makes sense when it comes to taking action. So are you ready to jump in? Are you ready to say yes to this change? Because change or be changed is a big message coming through this week. So that's what I got, guys. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a personal or a twin soul reading with me, I encourage you to check out that description box below. I've made a few adjustments to the reading prices and the reading scales. So have a look. Shoot me an email if you'd like to get something booked in. And feel free to head on over and check out my TikTok channel, Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot. I hope to see you all over there, and I hope you all have a great week ahead. Thank you, everybody.